6 months ago, I did a video about Guerrilla Games' upcoming Horizon Hunters Gathering, and it looked like the next Concord. It looked absolutely dreadful. Like a mobile phone game crossed with Fortnite. It was live service and no doubt microtransaction through the wazoo. It felt like it was going to be a disaster. It looked like it was going to be a disaster based off the heroes, massive parentheses around there, that they showed off. And you'll never guess what? After 6 months of testing, it's a complete disaster. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Yes, 6 months or so ago, I did a video about Guerrilla Games' upcoming live service game, which was going to be called Horizon Hunters Gathering. And when I hear the term live service, all I can think of is minimal effort to try and extract maximum profit from, I'm going to insert probably gullible players out there. I didn't think, though, that Horizon has the brand power that it thinks it has. It looked like it was going to be a massive hitter with the first offering of Horizon Zero Dawn, but after Forbidden West came out, well, it looked like all of that goodwill from the first game had been annihilated, and nobody really seemed interested in this universe, Aloy, or anything else to do with it. However, it seems to be plastered everywhere, and Guerrilla Games is all in on making it their thing. And I think their thing's going to be disappointment when all's said and done. The roster was as HR approved as you could possibly get, and worse, they were just bland and utterly generic. Nothing about these characters really stands out. Well, apart from one who just so happens to be a 650-pound, I mean, you can't even say morbidly obese, one-legged bint that's rushing around the jungle like she's fucking Linford Christie at the Olympics in 1990. Now, I don't know if Linford Christie... Google! Hey, Google! Was Linford Christie... Oh, it would be in the 1992 Olympics.
Linford Christie won gold in the men's 100 meters at the 1992 Barcelona...
Yeah! Look, as soon as we saw this twat bouncing around the jungle, everybody with a single brain cell in their head could see that this game was already dead. A disaster. Nobody wants to play characters that are HR approved for inclusion and diversity's sake. They want fun, awesome looking characters, not Portlandian land whale rejects that maybe are vacationing in Seattle because that's as fucking diverse as they'll ever get. And then when they showed off a little snippet of gameplay, it was as boring and as mobile phone gamey as could possibly game, fair maidens and fair, not maidens. But don't worry, because 3 months ago, they released some new gameplay. Should we have a quick look? It's on the turnaround, people. It wasn't actually on the turnaround at all, it would seem. Quick, go to the store, buy some gold coins so that you can get the... Anyway, carry on. Look, I know there's like 30 seconds more, but I think we've seen everything that we need to see already. This just looks like mobile phone trash. Free-to-play mobile phone trash. And the reason why all mobile phone trash games are free-to-play is because they just want to fuck you in the ass for microtransactions and sales, which is exactly what they want to do here. But they're a dime a dozen. And Horizon ain't what you think it is anymore. Oy vey. So after 6 months of internal testing, we suddenly get some information come out. VGC on this post say PlayStation and Guerrilla Games cooperative spin-off Horizon Hunters Gathering. I like to call it Horizon Zero Players. Anyway, moving on. Is reportedly being overhauled after poor testing feedback, with plans to strip out the game's live service elements. Overhauled, you say? I've got another word that I'll say as well. On the chopping block, which is more than a word. It's on the chop. It's 4. But I will allow it. Cancelled. There you go. There's one word. The article goes on to say Horizon Hunters Gathering was announced in February and was described as a tactical co-op action game. What was the cooperation trying to move a 650-pound fat bitch? Set in the universe of Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, players can play the game solo with NPCs, oh my lordy, or with other players in co-op, and a small-scale closed playtest was set to take place at the end of February. Well, it did. A new Bloomberg report, fuck Jason Schreier, however, suggests that the game has not been performing well in private testing, and plans are now underway to overhaul it, particularly in regards to the live service feature. I know what you should overhaul: the whole thing. The whole thing, because what we've seen of it so far, and yes, it is early doors, but what we've seen of it so far is so bland that it could just melt into all of the other failed games, like your Concords, like your High Guards, like there's so many now that come out. They don't really have an identity. They're a mush mash. They're just looking to capitalize on money making. Their characters look like DEI rejects, and nobody wants to play characters like this. You think they do because you live in a fucking enclosed bubble where you're all a bunch of fuckwits. But if you actually stuck your head out to what actual gamers want, and I know in gaming, particularly in the Western gaming industry, you don't want to do what players want. You want to do what we feel players need. Well, do you know what players don't need to do? Give you a fucking red cent. That's what players don't need to do. So you either get with the program or you become another casualty, because it is not just Microsoft that's going to be making all these cuts at Bungie and other companies as well. Sony are going to be forced to do so. And because they own Guerrilla Games, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. And if you're proud on working on slop like this, you might as well just go fuck off to China and work for NetEase or Tencent and have a mobile fucking game just plugged into you. Because this looks like shite. And if you want to see how strong the brand of Horizon is, even when it merges with Lego to create Horizon Adventures, we have one person, one single, solitary, lonely, oh so freaking lonely person in the game. And this has only been out for a couple of years. Came out in 2024. And at peak, at absolute peak, it had 602 players on the PC. That's the strength of your brand right now. And I guarantee you, Horizon Hunters Gathering, with how bland and generic and soulless, because it looks soulless, it will be something like this. It won't peak too high, and it'll drop real quickly. I don't think this game's going to be overhauled to anybody's satisfaction. I do, however, believe that it's going to end up being a casualty and more wasted money and developers' time. But I don't give a shit. Because as far as I'm concerned, the Western gaming industry can burn down. So I fully encourage you to create games like this and burn more money and get your bottom line laughed at. And ultimately, fuck off out the industry. According to sources familiar with PlayStation's plans, the game's live service component is now being stripped out, with plans to turn it into an even more generic cooperative multiplayer game with a story mode. I don't want to know anything about these characters, thank you very much. And smaller scope. Oh, excellent. Let's cut more content. While the game has not yet been cancelled, staff were told this week that they have until December to show executives that the game should remain in active development. Well, I think that's as safe a bet as cancellation as you're ever gonna get. Everything about this game just screams modernity. It really, truly does. The lack of any sort of imagination from the developers as regards to the world that they want to create. The generic mobile phone Fortnite-y type of color palette just makes it as bland could possibly be. And with the characters having the HR stamp of approval, then they just meld into the multitude of dog shit which has been put out there, thoroughly rejected and failed. I think at the beginning of next year, we're going to very slowly and quietly hear that Horizon Zero Players has effectively been cancelled and will no longer be going forward. I'll see you guys and gals in the next video. Until then, you take care. Goodbye, Belubo!